Ravens flock. The flock rundown is the place to be. My man Ryan has been a lifelong Ravens fan since he was born. So I'm telling you now, it's about to go down. The podcast, the flock rundown. Ravens, baby. Nothing gets better than waking up and wondering how high we can fly. Tune in.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim there where the sense can't tame the untamed.
Appreciate you, Ray. What's up, Ravens fans? My name is Ryan, and welcome back to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Training camp is in full swing. We got Kyle Hamilton saying that he wants to be a Pro Bowler, win multiple Super Bowls. We finally got some one-on-ones. Zay Flowers continues to impress. And we got a surprise cornerback pushing for the number 2 spot. So let's kick it off, adding to the Zay Flowers hype train. He continues to impress every practice. Yesterday he had 2 touchdowns. He caught a touchdown in the back of the end zone between Kyle Hamilton and Marcus Williams. He won the majority of his one-on-one battles, and that was against Marlon Humphrey and Rock Ya-Sin. So Zay Flowers out there impressing everybody. He keeps showing up, continues to win his matchups, and his explosiveness and speed is just uncoverable right now. And we have an incredible defense. I mean, this is a rookie. This guy was just drafted. He was the 3rd wide receiver drafted in the draft this year. So to come out against our starting defense and be performing right away, and hasn't even learned this offense inside and out, hasn't even built a full rapport with Lamar yet. I mean, I know that they got a jump start because they were working out in the offseason, but let's be real. This connection that they have right now is nothing compared to what it's going to be by the end of the season or in 2-3 years from now. That's a really strong sign that Eric DeCosta hit on this pick, that Zay Flowers is not a bust and is going to contribute in this league right away. And watching a guy's college tape, you usually can get a great idea of whether that translation is going to happen or whether that's going to happen really fast or not. And Zay does translate, right? Like when you watch his college film, you're like, okay, I could see how this shiftiness and how quick he can change his pace, how quick he can get in and out of his routes. He can run every route. He's got the dog mentality. He wants to play physical. Like, that seems like it would translate, but the fact that he's already doing it in camp against one of the best defenses in the league, and he's going against our starters for the most part, is extremely impressive. So my hat's off to Zay. OBJ also had a couple touchdowns, and the offense as a whole just seemed to look a little better. And each day I expect that to happen. Not obviously every day is going to be a great day, but overall, week by week, we should see more days pop up where the offense is looking better and is showing out. There's some highlights. It shouldn't be all defensively dominated, right? So, and we're seeing that right now. So the offense is steadily improving, and we still have yet to add J.K. Dobbins and Rashad Bateman, and they probably won't be here during training camp much, or especially not the preseason. So we're probably going to have to wait for the regular season to see them, but those are 2 incredibly talented players that we're adding back to this offense. And this offense is already kind of moving and getting into a groove here. Also keep hearing Isaiah Likely is just continuing to make plays. He looks better and more polished than he did last year. Mark Andrews continues to dominate. We're not surprised by that at all. We got a lot of weapons. This offense has just got to get this scheme down so that they can move without thinking. And the season feels like it's creeping up on us really quick here, which I can't wait. I couldn't be more excited. But there's still over a month of practices. So this offense should not be where it's going to be week 1 or where it's going to be week 18 when we're fighting to get into the playoffs or whatever it may be. This team has a long way to go and is going to get a lot better. Every team in the league does, but I'm just saying, especially learning a new offense and adding a bunch of new weapons, I don't expect to see greatness from this offense early at all. So the fact that they are improving and the connection with Zay and OBJ is strong right now, and Aguilar, I mean, these connections are strong. They're making great plays in camp. So great news there on the offense. Let's flip it to the defense. Kyle Hamilton hit the podium. Chris Hewitt, defensive backs coach, hit the podium. Hewitt had some interesting things to say about Rock Ya-Sin and Jalyn Armour Davis.
We got Marlon. He solidified himself as one of the corners, and then we got Rock, who's right now he's got the nod, but Jalyn Armour Davis, he's pushing him as well. And I look for big things from him coming up. But it's going to be a competition throughout the whole training camp, and we'll find out who comes out of there right now.
So obviously Marlon Humphrey's our number one corner. He's the most relied upon guy that we have in the secondary. His job is locked, as it should be. But the most interesting comment that I heard is that Rock Ya-Sin would be slotted in as that number 2 corner right now, but Jalyn Armour Davis is really pushing him. Now, you could take this both ways. You could be extremely excited that Jalyn Armour Davis is taking a leap from last year, because last year he didn't play that well. Now, he was battling injuries, but from what we saw of Jalyn Armour Davis last year, not great, right? Like, everyone was really high on Pepe Williams, and they can play 2 different spots on the field as well. Pepe can play slot. He's a smaller guy, and he can be moved around on the inside a little bit more. Jalyn Armour Davis can play outside, but he just didn't look great last year. So either he's taken such a ginormous leap because he's comfortable with the defense, or he's just fully healthy now. That's great news. I think it's great news regardless to hear that Jalyn Armour Davis is pushing for the number 2 spot. The negatives that you could take out of it is that Rock Ya-Sin isn't playing consistent enough that he has commanded that number 2 spot like all of the fans think that he will be, right? Like, I would say if you polled the majority of Ravens fans, they're going to say Marlon Humphrey and Rock Ya-Sin are our corners. And then it's Pepe Williams, Jalyn Armour Davis, all those, Caillou Blue Kelly, all those guys behind them, right? But my take on his comments and just the cornerback situation as a whole is that it's not in his best interest as a defensive backs coach to say who has the lead or who's the guy, right? Obviously, Marlon Humphrey's the guy, so you can kind of make that comment. But the number 2, number 3, number 4, etc. is wide open, and the players got to go earn it. It's still really early in camp. So I think that he's saying Rock is the guy right now, but he's still got to earn that spot. And he made a few other comments in that press conference saying that Rock Ya-Sin played different defenses, so he's still learning this defense and still thinking a lot. And that goes back to what we were saying about the offensive side. Once you learn that scheme and that system, you can play freely. And he made comments about Kyle Hamilton not being able to play freely earlier last year. He was thinking way too much. Once he knew the defense inside and out, he could just go play football, and his athleticism and his instincts are elite. So when you're not thinking about what your job is and you can just go attack the ball and just go make a play, you start making a lot more plays. So I think that Rock Ya-Sin, because what I've also seen Rock Ya-Sin is having a bunch of pass breakups and looks solid in camp. I think that he's probably just making a lot of mental mistakes and not playing as fast as he will just because he doesn't know the defense inside and out. Jalyn Armour Davis has a leg up knowing the defense over Rock Ya-Sin. So I'm looking at the positives in all of this. I still think Rock Ya-Sin is definitely the number 2 corner. I just think that he may be being pushed a little bit because he doesn't know the defense like that yet. So he might be making a few mistakes and stuff still. And I think it's a great sign that Chris Hewitt is so high on Jalyn Armour Davis. That shows clearly that he's taken a step up. And Pepe Williams returned to practice 2 days ago, so he's back as well. So I'd love to see what we got with these guys. I still think we add another corner. I don't think that this situation is stable by any means. It takes one injury near the top to crumble the whole thing. So I definitely would love to add another corner. I will keep saying that. I'm not comfortable with where we're at, even if the younger guys have completely stepped up. I've also been hearing good things from Caillou Blue Kelly. He's had a couple pass breakups, but everybody's got pass breakups. It's training camp. We're doing one-on-ones. You better win a few one-on-ones, both sides, right? The receiver and the corner. Like, you better win a few of them. You better have a couple pass breakups. Kyle Hamilton hit the podium yesterday along with Chris Hewitt. Chris Hewitt made a comment that he expects Kyle Hamilton to be playing at a Pro Bowl level this year. And Kyle echoed it. He said that's the goal. Pro Bowls, Super Bowls.
The most growth, he knows the defense. Earlier in the year he had a lot of growing pains. So he's ahead of the plays this year. He's ahead of the formations, down and distance, knows how to play now. So we'll see big things from Kyle. I expect this guy to be a Pro Bowl type player this year.
That's the goal. Ultimately, Pro Bowl, Super Bowl, all that. I think top to bottom, if not the deepest team in the NFL, from offense, defense, special teams, all that. And I feel like everybody on the field I feel like I'm at like a Pro Bowl practice every day because just look around, it's just guys everywhere. But, I have high expectations for myself, for the team, and I feel like we can make all of them come true.
And I love that mentality. He seems like he's just calm and confident this year. Not that he didn't carry that last year. I definitely felt like he was calm and confident, but on the field, he was clearly thinking too much. But the Kyle Hamilton we saw in the second half of the season or at the end of the season is who I expect to see the start of this season, if not even better. And I know he got moved back. He's in a different position. He said he's got a lot more responsibility now, but I think those are all great things. I think that he can handle that responsibility. He said that he's responsible for communicating the checks now. He said it's kind of weird when he's got to do it to Roquan and guys like that because, he's so much younger and less experienced than those guys. But he's out there communicating what their job needs to be, right? So that's a big responsibility for Kyle, and I think he's up for it. And I think that all just helps you grow as a player and as a leader, right? So year 4 or 5, when Kyle Hamilton's still here, he's going to be a lot more confident and vocal than even he is right now. These are all just good stepping stones for him along the way, and the sky's the limit. I definitely think Kyle Hamilton's a Pro Bowl safety. I don't know if he'll get it this year or not. We'll see. He's got a guy next to him that is also competing for that. I think Marcus Williams could be a Pro Bowl safety as well. So, but I think Kyle Hamilton will get a few Pro Bowls for sure. I've been very high on Kyle Hamilton. I expect nothing but great things from Kyle Hamilton, even switching his responsibilities a little bit. I'm not worried about it. The way he changed and how quickly he grew last year told me everything I need to know. This guy's the real deal. The best news in training camp is that we've been staying healthy. So, knock on wood, keep praying. We got to stay healthy this year. David Ojabo got a little banged up, but he returned to practice. Geno Smith still dealing with that ankle, but Harbaugh said it's nothing serious. Probably be back in a week or so, but should be all right. Should be all right with David Ojabo. So no injuries, no serious injuries at least. There's going to be a couple nicks here and there. J.K. Dobbins, Rashad Bateman, Patrick Ricard still on the PUP. Waiting to see when they get back, if they'll get back. Either way, we look really strong right now, and I'm really happy about what I'm seeing from this team in camp. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Flock Rundown. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you guys next time.
Motionless brainwaves attempt to swim their way to sense, can't tame the untamed.